Having a great sense of humor can often help when you have a disability. 20 years ago, Kenan Derson lost his foot to cancer. Now he's sharing his experiences through humor. ABC 7's Karen Meyer joins us with more. Karen.
Linda, at the age of 14, Kenan Derson was diagnosed with cancer. And at 15, his left foot had to be amputated. Now he's putting his best foot forward in a one-man play called My Left Foot.
He handed it back to me, and I put it on, and he said, "That's cool. Do the other one."
For the past 3 Sundays, Kenan has been performing at the WNEP Theater in Chicago.
One scalpel's cut through the muscle and the tissue. An ordinary hacksaw is used to cut through the bone. Then sutures or staples are used to seal the wound. Prosthesis is spelled
Despite this disability, Kenan has never been deferred from participating fully in life. He says his biggest challenge in life since losing part of a limb is buying shoes.
The guy at the shoe store would say, "Well, how does that feel?" I'm like, "I don't feel it. That doesn't mean anything to me. As long as I can fit my foot in there, it's perfect."
In his one-man show, Kenan shares both his personal perspective of disabilities and other people.
Anywhere from mothers yanking their kids away because they don't want to catch the amputation, or little kids just looking and going, "Hey, you have a metal leg. That's cool."
Kenan's sense of humor has enlightened many people, including his producer, Rebecca Lagoose.
One of the first times I met Kenan was when he was wearing the leg with the pictures, and he asked me for a picture of my leg, which I immediately fell in love with him just for that, because I hate my legs.
Kenan can be serious, especially when he offers some advice to cancer patients.
Don't stop. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let anybody say you need to be normal. You're going to be normal. Don't listen to that, because you're not going to be normal. You're not going to do things like everyone else does. You're going to do them just a little bit different, and to revel in that difference.
This Sunday is the last performance of My Left Foot. The WNEP Theater is at 3209 North Hartford in Chicago. Tickets are $10. All proceeds from the production are being donated to Cancer Support Organization. For more information about My Left Foot, call 773-296-1100 or check out our website at abc7chicago.com. Linda, he has quite a sense of humor.
He does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When we come back, Tracy's going to have the latest on.
Watching that news clip takes me back to the hot summer of 2002 when I spent my weekends working on this incredible show. Hi, I'm Ron Stemkowski. I had the great privilege of being married to Ken Anderson, SAG name Ken Anderson, who we're here to celebrate today. Ken was a 3-time cancer survivor by the time we met in 2001, and it was a trait that defined him to a degree, not negatively. He was a walking, talking billboard for positive thinking, humor, and light. Plus, he was super handsome with a trillion-watt smile. Once we met at a little neighborhood bar on a cold winter's night in March of 2001. We were together until the day he died. I'd been dating Ken for a little over a year when we decided to gather our friends and put together his one-man show, My Foot Left, about his journey with cancer and the amputation of his left leg below his knee. It was something he was incredibly, and not surprisingly, passionate about. We gathered a host of our friends to help with the project. Ken asked his very skilled theater friends, Rebecca and Shali, to produce and direct, respectively. He then very kindly and smartly involved my friends to help with voiceovers. Then he asked my very unskilled hands to run tech, lights, and sound. It's the first time of many that it was so easy to say yes to something out of my comfort zone because of the example Ken set every day. Loving him made me a better, bolder, and braver man. We put up My Foot Left at WNEP Theater, then at Halsted and Belmont on the north side of Chicago for 4 Sundays in August of 2002. It was thrilling to be a part of something so personal and important to him. It was a peek into his creative mind, thoughts, fears, discoveries, and triumphs. The process and the show were a real through-the-looking-glass revelation. Ken would have turned 60 on this birthday today. He died when he was 45 on June 1st, 2011. In the intervening years, I've kept him tucked into my heart and my life. He whispers encouragement when I need it, and he celebrates and commiserates with me during the highs and lows of life. I can't say how often I think of him because, well, he's just a part of me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that feeling. Ken was unforgettable and an incredibly special teacher. His lessons still abound in my life, and I feel strongly that his story still has some work to do. I want to thank everyone who helped make this event possible with your generosity and donations of money, time, and kindness. Much like the original play, this was a community effort of friends who loved Ken, or me, or a combination of both, working on a creative goal to celebrate him, his story, and make a difference in the lives of people impacted by cancer. The money raised for the American Cancer Society will help lead to new breakthroughs in cancer research and treatment. For those of you who have contributed to this cause, my words can't fully express my gratitude. You've made a huge difference in people's lives, including mine. In the years since Ken's death, time has helped me see one thing very clearly. It's not that he died, it's that he lived. So, without further delay, please enjoy the video premiere of My Foot Left, starring my late but ever-dazzling husband, Kenan Derson.
Who can get cancer? Anyone. Anyone at all. Any age, any gender, any race. Even you. It is very dark tonight. It's like when I'm in the basement and the light switch is a pulsion at the bottom of the stairs, and I have to go up the stairs in darkness. The bare stairs, the kind without any risers. And I know that something's going to grab me from under there. Deep breath, adrenaline, run. Top stair, turn, closed door, lean, listen, breathe. I open my eyes to the bottom of the top bunk. Not a sound coming from the house. Everyone else is asleep. I start to pace from the carpet of the bedroom to the linoleum of the hallway. In, out, in, out. I stop and spread my arms like a great bald eagle's wings trying to lure in the air. With each beat of my arm wings, I force a heave of my chest. My eyes wide, my eyes jumping from object to object in the room. I'm searching for some kind of peace, some kind of haven. And a word echoes through my skull, banging on my forehead, trying to get out. I can't let it. Evil attacking me from inside. I feel my heart bumping faster and faster, my breathing becoming more and more labored, and the word gets louder in my head, gets louder, so I force other words and other voices to begin in an effort to push out the intruder. Shut up, one yells. No, 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 one groans. I look around. Things become blurred as if ink were poured into my eyes, the murkiness slowly descending to the floor. The first signs of anything wrong with me was when I was in high school. And in gym class, in fact. And it was in high school, and we wore those swim trunks. They were really, 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 really small in the school colors. And ours were green and white. So they were green and had this little bit of white. And to get from the locker room to the swimming pool, you had to step through a foot bath to disinfect your feet. And if you got caught not stepping in, you got detention. Well, some of the studly guys, the more athletic dudes, were able to leap over this 3-foot square pit with no problem. Well, I was feeling, I don't know, studly one day. We were learning Spanish words, swear words in Spanish class or something. So I just got all my gusto, and I took a nice big leap and landed right in the middle. Shows you how studly I was. But I landed right on the drain, and it hit the arch of my foot, and it just felt kind of strange. And so I went into the locker room, grabbed my towel from Ernie, the towel guy, wrapped it around my waist, and went and sat down by my locker. And I felt my foot. I looked at it, and I didn't see anything. But I felt a lump. I had no idea what was going on. I knew it shouldn't have been there. So I went and I told my folks about it. And I said, look what's happening. So we made an appointment with the doctor. And doctor took it out, a simple outpatient procedure. And he said that it was the size of a pea. So we waited for a few days, and the doctor called back. And he said, oh, don't worry about it, nothing to worry about it. It's benign, don't worry about it. And he was wearing the white coat, so we had, okay. We didn't worry about it. And it was about 2 years later that the same type of thing happened. And this time, I felt that whenever I rode my bike, and even walking, was uncomfortable. And the lump was back. This time, however, it was ulcerated. It was an open wound. And I figured, well, it's just an infection. It's just a zit. It's an infection, or it's a plantar's wart. My brother got plantar's warts. That's all it is. But I would squeeze, and nothing would come out. Nothing would happen. So since nothing was happening, again, I went to Mom and Dad, and I said, look at this. This is what's happening now. And then it's not, no pus, no, nothing's happening. So they took me back to the doctor. And this time, the doctor said that he removed a cyst the size of a big golf ball or a super ball. Sent it to the labs, and we waited for weeks and weeks. I remember sitting on the screen porch, just outside the screen porch. It was summer. I was getting a tan. Everybody tan in the 80s, you know. It's the thing to do. So I'm getting a tan, sitting on my lounge chair, had a book. And I had crutches with me because I wasn't allowed to walk on my foot yet. So I'm just sitting there, tanning. I looked over and I saw my mom. And she was kind of standing in the screen door, and she was framed by the door frame. And I heard the door softly close behind her as she walked out.
Honey, Dr. Ailes called. He finally called. And it's cancer. The doctor said stay off your foot. Do not walk on your foot. You are not to use your foot to walk. You're supposed to use your crutches. He made an appointment for you at the Mayo Clinic. Get tests done, find out what we should do next. Dad will be home soon, I called him. Are you okay?
Stay off my foot. I mean, I can walk. I've been on crutches for a while, but I can walk. Look, I can walk. But still, I was to use my crutches. So we went up to the Mayo Clinic. And on the way to the Mayo Clinic, I insisted that we stopped at the Field Museum to see the Tiffany exhibit, because I was still in control. I was going to let somebody else tell me when I had to be there. I was still in control. Got up to our hotel, stayed in the hotel. The next day, Saturday, we went to the Mayo Clinic, went to the reception desk, and we discovered that the Mayo Clinic is closed on Saturdays. Ticked my dad off, I'll tell you that. And I just was thinking, and what, people don't get sick on the weekends? Apparently, the Mayo Clinic is just that. It's a clinic. Open Monday through Friday, and they work with 2 area hospitals. So we had to go all the way back home, came back up on Sunday night. Monday morning, my test started. Luckily, the blood test was the first thing in the morning because I wanted to eat, and I get really crabby when I don't eat. And so that was the first thing. Had blood tests, had CAT scan. They injected me with radioactive material, and then they took pictures of my entire body, bone scan, brain scan, chest x-rays, head x-rays, and then a physical. And the physical was scheduled at 3 o'clock. And by the time we had to go in for that physical, every test result was in the doctor's hand. It was amazing. So I was sitting in the doctor's room with my mom and dad, and the nurse was trying to get me to wear one of those gowns with the little blue donuts on it, and I refused to wear that thing. It made me so mad, because I'm not going to wear that thing. I'm in control here. If I wear that, I'm going to be sick. I'm not wearing that. I have shorts on. This is fine. So Dr. Pritchard walked in with 7 or 8 attending physicians or interns.
What your son has is,
Talk to the boy.
you have a malignancy called an epithelioid sarcoma.
What?
Epithelioid sarcoma. We agree with the Armed Forces diagnosis.
The armed forces? What does the Army have to do with this? The Armed Forces Institute of Pathology, located in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., is a tri-service agency of the Department of Defense, specializing in pathology, consultation, and research. The AFIP maintains 22 subspecialty departments with a combined workforce of over 820 personnel, including 120 pathologists and other scientists.
It's the same kind of growth that was found 2 years ago. I suggest we amputate the leg below the knee tomorrow morning. The option of merely digging into the lesion to remove the malignant tissue would only leave the foot badly maimed with little use, merely pain. The cancer has a recurrence rate of 30 to 90% in various locations: the leg, the abdomen, the chest, the brain. You wear prosthesis.
Oh, what?
An artificial leg.
Can you spell that? Spell it for me.
Ah, come on, pal. You can spell that.
Just spell it for me. I need you to spell it. Just spell it for me.
So I'll give you a while to discuss this. Gentlemen,
I have to make the decision? Fine, cut it off. But how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? An ordinary hacksaw is used. Once scalpel's cut through the muscle and the tissue, an ordinary hacksaw is used to cut through the bone. The calf muscle is kept whole and wrapped around the cauterized bone, and then sutures, or staples, are used to seal the incision. Prosthesis is spelled Prosthesis. We made the calls back home when we got to our hotel room. And I remember sitting in the hotel room and my mom sitting on the bed and had some kind of velour-esque bedcloth. And I sat on the other side watching her. She was talking to my grandma and pap. And she handed me the phone. And I kept thinking, I told my dad at dinner, it's no big deal. And yeah, it is a big deal. Well, no, it's happening to me. This has to be done. So I got the phone from my mom, and it was my pap. Now, Pap was a gruff man, great guy, loved us to death. But, you make a better door than a window. Get out of the way. You make a better, come on. Give me a bud. I'm going to dob you, man. Come here, boys, I love you. Just gruff. And that's the way he treated us. He was always like this, just like this. Great man. And I got on that phone, and I was like, hey, Pap, how you doing? And he was crying. And he kept saying, I'm sorry. He was bawling. And I was looking at the phone and looked at my mom. Here, Mom. I had no idea what to do. Pap was crying. I saw my mom coming in from the other rooms with bloodshot eyes. My brother ran away from home and was getting drunk. And I'm looking around at all these people around me. It's happening to me, but these people can't handle it. And it was then that I became a man. Because I had to be strong for everybody else. And bam, I was. I'm lying in my unstarched white sheets in the hospital room. White ceiling tiles. White cinder blocks. White curtains on the windows to the outside. White blinds on the curtains. White blinds on the windows to the nurse's station, pulled closed so I can't see what's going on. And I thought they're going to cut my leg off tomorrow. They're going to do it tomorrow. This isn't going to be there. This is going to be gone. And I kept moving my around and moving it around and moving it around and just trying to convince myself it's going to be gone, it's going to be gone, it's going to be gone. What's that going to be like? I can't do this anymore. I won't be able to do this anymore. And do a prosthesis thing that I'm going to wiggle my toes. Just going to wiggle my toes. I just have to wiggle them. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I go to sleep. I'm really tired. I'm just going to sleep now. Just going to sleep. Just going to. I finally fell asleep about 3 in the morning. The nurse came in, seemed like 2 minutes later, to wake me up. And she said that she had to wake me up in order to give me a shot so I can go back to sleep. I just didn't understand that logic. But she said, roll over. So I rolled over, and she injected me with the medicine to make me go to sleep and get drowsy. And it burned. It felt like fire was going through my entire body. I felt every artery just filling with fire, and I just was wincing, and the nurse had to blow, and so I just kept blowing and blowing. And eventually things just kind of faded. And they transferred me to the gurney. And I remember them saying that they called my mom and dad and that they would be there soon. And then I saw Mom and Dad. And I looked at the lights, and as I was being wheeled out my room into the hallway, the lights flashed by me. I remember being in the elevator and going down to the pre-op room where they shaved my leg. And then I waited outside an operating room and waited and waited. It seemed like forever. Then I was finally pushed into the operating room, and it was freezing. It's really cold in here. It's really cold. It's freezing. And there's stainless steel all around, and there are pipes and sounds that I'm not familiar with, and people that I don't know. Their masks are on. I don't know them. And then I heard Dr. Pritchett say that he was ready, and the anesthesiologist said the countdown from 100. I laid, and I counted 100. It's really cold in here. 99. It's so white. 98. Wiggle. Wiggle. The next thing I remember, I was in post-op, and this nurse was yelling at me to get up. Come on, get up, get up, get up. She was yelling at me. Finally, I was able to get back up, taken to my room. And I remember getting to my room, and the only thing that I wanted, the one thing I wanted, was a cherry popsicle. So my mom or dad, they went and they found me a cherry popsicle, because that's what I wanted. And I remember eating the cherry popsicle, and then as soon as I was finished eating it, I needed to puke. So Mom was ready with a bucket, just in case. Now the next several weeks, 2.5 weeks, I was in the hospital and going through physical therapy. They had a cast on my leg from here down to the end of my residual limb. That's the technical term for it. It was the residual, I call it a stump. That's what it is. It's easy, it's better, it's shorter. Now. And the end of the cast, there was a metal plate where they could attach what was called a pylon. And basically it was a pipe with a fake foot. And so I put that on the plate, screwed it on, and I was able to walk with crutches and not put a lot of weight on it. But 2 days after my surgery, I was walking and doing physical therapy. And after that, it was amazing because I was going to be out at the hospital a day early. I called my friend Debbie. Debbie Arvidsson called almost every day, sent me letters every day, made sure I was okay. And I called her and said, hey, Debbie, I'm getting out a day early. I'm getting out a day early. Of course, being young and being on drugs and so forth, I didn't catch what was going on because immediately she said, put your mother on the phone. So I was like, okay. My mom took the phone and they were talking for a while and then I got the phone back. Hi, she said again. I'm like, oh, hi. Yeah, okay, great. I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay, bye. So hung up. Mom suggests, hey, Kenny, you know what? Why don't we, instead of going right home tomorrow, why don't we have Aunt Kathy pick us up from the airport? We'll stay overnight there and then go back on Saturday morning. I'm thinking, cool. Love Aunt Kathy. It'd be great to see her. Yeah, let's do it. Of course, hindsight. Turns out that if we went home a day early, it would have ruined all of their plans. Because come Saturday morning when we drove back home, there was a welcome home sign up at the end of my street. There were balloons on every single one of the mailboxes going back to my house. And they were Mylar balloons. And then Mylar balloons in '82 were awesome. You were really, really cool if you had Mylar balloons. And eventually I had like 50 of them in my living room. So it was just an awesome experience to be welcomed home by all my friends and my family who were just so loving and supporting that whole time because there were just people and presents everywhere. Whatever happened to my foot? The doctor never showed it to me like the dentist showed me the tooth he pulled out. Did they burn it? Did they throw it in the incinerator with other body parts? Or did they freeze it? Or did they cut it up to study it more? Or did they slice it and put it between two plates of glass like those bodies at the Field Museum? Or did they bury it? And if it were buried, what kind of marker would it have? Is my foot now kicking at some unmarked stone? Is it alone? Is it lonely? Does it sing itself to sleep late at night? Does it know French? Does it have any hobbies? Is it eagerly awaiting the 4 DVD set of The Lord of the Rings? Or is it in a glass jar filled with formaldehyde? Is it floating in yellow liquid? And if I shook it up, would the bits of rubbery flesh float and fall like in a snow globe? And would it be a trophy for my experience like my tooth on a string? And could I attach a music box to it? And would its gentle undulations softly lull me to sleep at night? I had the cast changed 3 times because my leg was atrophying. It was getting smaller, it was shrinking. After the last cast was taken off, it was my job to wrap my stump with an ace bandage to shape it. And the idea was, use the ace bandage to shape the stump for a prosthetic device. So I wrapped it every night, made sure it was wrapped all the time, and then every day I took a measurement at my thigh, right around my knee, and at the end of my stump. And once the measurements were the same 3 days in a row, we could set up an appointment and go have my leg made and get my prosthetic. So that day finally came, and my mom and I went back to the Mayo Clinic. And we went back to the Mayo Clinic because the doctors were saying, oh, it's best to go there because the doctors are close and these guys really know what they're doing. So we're like, nah, we have no idea how to buy a leg. Sure, we'll go back to the Mayo Clinic. So I went back there, and we stayed at the Northland House, which is now a Ronald McDonald House. Wonderful place. Absolutely wonderful place. You could stay there for $5 a night compared to like the 30, 40, $50 a night at your local Holiday Inn. It was all arranged by floors. You shared common rooms, and you stayed in a room of your own. There were 14 of us at the time that I was going through this physical therapy. And the oldest was Ross, and he had Hodgkin's disease. And the youngest was cutest little baby, blonde hair, blue-eyed, dusty, and he had leukemia. He was 6 months old. I met my friend Harlan there as well. Harlan Hoppert. He was from Indiana. That's where I was from. And eventually we went to Purdue together, and we hung out in college, too. He had a similar type of cancer, but it was in his bicep. And the doctors and they decided, instead of amputating the arm, that they would remove the bicep. And then he went through chemotherapy and radiation. And we were invited one night to a homecoming dance by our friend Joan. We met Joan in the hospital, and she had her leg amputated at her hip. And she said, you know, we're having a homecoming dance, why don't you come on over? So Harlan and I got permission from our folks, and we went to this homecoming dance and had the best time. One of the main reasons, I think, is because Joan's friends knew her, knew what she was going through. She told them about us, and so we were instantly friends and family. And there was no awkwardness at all. We were instantly loved by them. After the homecoming dance, Harlan and I are driving home, kind of hungry. So we stopped at Hardee's. And they were having a promotion. And they were promoting the Smurfs. Remember the Smurfs, the little blue things? And it's not that I watch the Smurfs, except every Saturday morning on CBS. But they had glasses with the Smurfs on. And my dad also drew Smurfs on my first cast. I managed to talk the manager into selling me one of each kind that they had. And I think back, I'm like, well, who's going to say no to a kid with one leg and his bald friend? I mean, come on. So we finally got back to the house that night, really late. And the thing about the Northern house is that there was a bond. Adult to adult, kid to kid, parent to parent, dying to dying. Kids were bleeding, burning. But the grief that we all shared was the same. And we shared that grief. It was all the same. Grief. If you share grief, you can get through major obstacles very easily. Grief is all the same, all the shared, no matter where it comes from. You too will learn this one day. My prosthetic was ready. So we were able to go back to the hospital, the Mayo Clinic, and go to the physical therapy lab. I had a physical therapist who was awesome. Stephanie, large woman, and really didn't take too much crap. And I remember this room. It was just like a classroom. But in one corner, there were weights. Another corner, there were stairs. Right in the middle of the room, there were 2 parallel bars. And that's what I remember the most, because the first thing I touched in there. So I was wheeled to the end of the parallel bars, and Steve, my prosthetist, came over and he showed me the leg, and he put the leg on, and it felt really weird, because I hadn't had anything on that for a long time except the ace bandage. It felt like a big boot.
Okay, stand up.
So I stood up and I'm ready to walk across the room. And I stood there and I was ready. And I was ready. And I was ready for a long time because I was ready. And I had no idea I had no idea what to do. I just stood there. I couldn't do it.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Put your weight on your good leg.
Like my other one's evil.
Now, put your left knee to my hand. Good.
Okay.
Now straighten your knee. Nice. Now lean to your left. Shift the weight to your left. Good. Now touch your left heel to the floor.
Okay.
All right. Now touch your right knee to my hand. Good.
Okay.
Now straighten your knee.
Okay.
Nice. Now lean to your right. Touch your right heel to the floor. All right.
So I continued this. Come on, okay, left knee straighten, lean, heel. Right knee straighten, lean, heel. I continued this all the way across and then all the way back, just thinking, okay, exactly what I had to do to get myself from one place to another. I finally got back to my wheelchair, and I was like, oh, here's my wheelchair. I could sit down. I could rest for a second. This is really good. I'm so tired. Oh, my gosh.
Now stand up again. Now just walk to me. You know how. Walk.
And I did it. And I walked all the way across the parallel bars. She taught me how to walk in like 2 minutes. I had forgotten, and now I'm walking. And eventually I got to be so good that I broke free of the parallel bars and got to walk around in the classroom, got to go up the stairs and the ramps. Then I was allowed to go into the outside world. But there was a stipulation. I had to wear a strap around my waist. Okay? The idea of the strap around my waist was so that in my mother's custody, I was allowed to go out, and she would hold on to that strap. And if I started to go off balance one way or the other, she could yank back the strap and put me upright again. But I love my mom to death. She's like a 5'0" woman, and I was like kind of like, oh. And I was so afraid that if I went off balance, that she would come toppling down all over me. So I never lost my balance at all. After I was so good, I was released from the physical therapy department, allowed to go home. Mom and I went back to the Northern house, packed our suitcases, got everything ready, and we're heading back home, saying goodbye to everyone that was there, everyone that was still there, because some of them had gone home and others had just gone. Epithelial sarcoma is a malignant tumor of the epithelial cells that attacks the soft connective tissues. It is very rare and very slow growing and can be spread through the lymphatic system. The recommended treatment, radical resection, cut it out, or amputation, cut it off. One of the most interesting aspects of this type of cancer, recurrence. Analysis of 51 consecutive patients with epithelial sarcoma revealed a 5-year survival rate to be approximately 70%. A 10-year survival rate to be approximately 50%. And the male 5-year survival rate, approximately 40%. A few years later, when I was in high school, or when I was in college, my friend Brian Williams called. I figured he was calling to bum a ride from me again because we had an audition for a show that night. He was calling to tell me that Harlan had died. And with that information, I was the only survivor of everyone that had cancer at the Northern house. I was the only one that was still alive. And I thought, I'm next.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always.
I am so lucky. I am so lucky because I get to see life from so many different perspectives. And others get to see my life from different perspectives too. All artists must go through pain. But I get to see life from so many different perspectives. I don't wear my leg at night to sleep because it would get bunched up and my leg needs to breathe. So I wake up and I crawl to the shower every morning. First thing I do is I crawl to the bathroom and I turn on the water for the shower. And then I crawl back from the bathroom into the kitchen, and this is the time where my dog loves me the most because I'm on her level. So I make my coffee or my tea in the morning, and by the time my coffee or tea is ready, I know my water is going to be warm enough so I could get and take a shower. And the reason I can't hop or anything is because sleeping all night, my ankle's still just a little too weak to take all the pressure of hopping. So I get in the shower, and I shower up, and I've never fallen in the shower yet. Day may come. So I get all lathered up, make sure Stump Dog is cleaned off and all this. And then I get my towel, dry myself off, and I can go back into my bedroom and put my leg on. Now, I've had lots and lots of different legs over the years. And the first leg that I had was very crude compared to what's out now. And it was basically just wood with plastic on it and a mannequin-type foot. There was no ankle movement of any kind whatsoever, no toe movement at all. And over the years, it's progressed at an incredible rate, in my opinion. And put this on, so I make sure this is lined up. The other legs that I had also attached from the outside. And looking back at old pictures, there were straps and so forth that ran around your waist, and you strapped your leg on so it didn't fall off. Now, with this new technology, this sheath going on my leg, the screw actually acts as an extension of my bone. And depending on how my leg's feeling, I may have to add a sock or two throughout the day to make it fit better. But once I get my socks on, I can step into the leg and become bipedal again. And the way this actually works is very much like the club for your car. Well, it is. You know, the club, you attach it to your steering wheel and you can't take it apart unless you turn the key and it slides nicely. The leg has a magic button. So it will not come off. I can yank and it's not going to come off. But the second I press the magic button, it pops off very easily. And this leg too actually has a shock absorber. It's a Fox Racing shock absorber and has titanium alloy spring in the front, so I can actually bounce a little bit, which is something that I've never been able to do before. And I bought running shoes the other day, and so I actually went running. And that was a thrill, because with the other legs, I could run short distances, but it was really jarring to my whole body. With the shock absorber, it absorbs all that shock, and so it's not just jarring at all. And the other perspectives that I get, just from being on crutches, people see me differently. My perspective of the world is different too. And if I have long pants on, you don't really notice that I only have one leg, like I was before. You don't really notice it. However, when I don't wear long pants or on my crutches, I get stares like you wouldn't believe. And there are tons of them. There's just the blatant, oh my God, stare. There is the, wow, what's up, dude? Stare. My favorite stare is the nonchalant stare. Oxymoron, I know, but people try to do it. I'm walking by, they're walking by me, and they do this. As if I'm not going to see that. And most of the time, I just let it go. Over the years, I've gotten more and more tolerant. There are some times, however, that people ask me what happened. They'll actually have the guts to say, excuse me, can I ask you what happened? Or I have my daughter who just got her leg amputated. Can I talk to you about this? And I will reward them with the truth. Other times when I'm just not feeling up to it, I'm just tired, or they're drunk, I say, shark attack. A shark bit my leg off, yeah. Mm-hmm. No way. Yeah, come on. I have the tooth. What kind of shark was it? Oh, I think it was a great white. Really? Yeah. Where were you? Were you in Lake Michigan? Had that. Like, no, I was parasailing, so it got to be this huge, long story, which I keep elaborating on and going further, because there's some times that I'm just not wanting to put up with the, oh my God, I'm so sorry looks. I am a Kenny in a box. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, and suddenly you see me. Prosthetic leg, crutches, cane, wheelchair, what have you. And I am in your thoughts. Crutches. Cripple. He must be homeless. What's wrong with him? Stay away from him. And you try to push me back in the box, out of your mind, but you can't. I am stuck there forever. Is he sick? Could I get sick? Does he have cancer? Do I have cancer? Is he gonna die? Am I gonna die? Hop goes the thoughts of your own immortality. I love to rollerblade. And I figured, I rollerblade, I should be able to ice skate. That's what I thought. This past winter, I actually went down to skate on state. And there were very few days that you could do that because of the warm weather we had. But went down to skate on state with my friends, and I'm gonna go skating. I'm gonna ice skate. So I get my rental skates and I put them on. I stand up and I'm like, hey, Mary, I'm skating. She then pointed out that I wasn't even on ice. I said, okay. So I went down the ramp, went through the mulch they had there, and stood right on the ice, right there. I had my hands on the wall. I'm ready to go skating. And I step up on the ice and bam, fell on my butt right away. I'm like, okay, no, I'm fine. No, go ahead, go play. And I get up again, and I hold on to the wall, and I let go of the wall, bam, fall down again. So I grabbed the wall again, and I realized that as long as I'm touching the wall, I can skate. So I'm skating. Everybody else in the middle doing figure eights. And so I'm skating. It's great. Second, I start to let go of the wall, get shaky, grab hold of that wall again so I don't fall over. My friend Mary comes over and sees how I'm doing. She's like, what's wrong? What's up? And it's like, well, every time I let go of the wall, I start to fall. I'll be your wall. Cool. So Mary became my mobile wall, and I'm skating around with Mary, and still skating around, not doing figure eights yet, but skating around. Every time she started to let go, I wobbled, and I felt bad because I didn't want to take away her fun. So I just finally said, you know what, just take me to the side. Forget it. Just take me to the side. So she took me to the side, and I got off the ice, and I just stared at that ice, that demon. I mean, I rollerblade for Pete's sake, and I could not figure out why I couldn't do this. Friction. Friction is a force that resists or retards the relative motion of objects in contact. For example, with rollerblades in the pavement, there's quite a bit of lateral friction. Between ice and the skate blade, there's almost no friction at all. I step on the ice and my leg goes like this. So, there's not a lot of friction there. Okay. So I got to pull my leg in. I got to keep my leg pulled in. Finally, I got to the point I was just so frustrated because it was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do this so badly, and I couldn't do it. And I was getting angry and sad and depressed and all these other things. Finally, I just said, forget it. I'm doing this. And I got over to the wall, and I jumped on that ice. Stood up. I started skating without a wall. And I'm skating, remembering to keep my leg pulled in so it doesn't slide out from under me. Okay, skating, and my friends are in the middle, and they see me, and they start cheering, and just then, these huge Charlie Brown Christmas cartoon snowflakes started falling down, and I could see them with the big lights in the buildings, and the dark sky, and the Christmas music playing in the background. I am skating, and I look up, and I see a football. And I caught that football. Apparently some kids were playing on the other side, and I caught it, and you know what? No bam. I rocked. And I want to be an action figure. I want to be an action figure because the real Kenny action figure will come with crutches, a removable prosthetic leg, and tons of cool accessories. Well, the Malibu Kenny comes with a removable prosthetic fin, a shark, and a real leg with a blood pack that the shark can bite off. Extreme Kenny comes with a helmet, inline skates, and a snowboard with a big bolt of lightning on it. And then, of course, these guys are going to get hurt, so there's Dr. Kenny. And Dr. Kenny comes with a white lab coat, a stethoscope, an X-ray machine, an MRI machine, the whole hospital. It's awesome. And Badass Kenny comes wearing a bandana, he has a tattoo, and he drives a Harley with real action sounds. And then there's Captain Kenny. Captain Kenny comes with a parrot for his shoulder, a patch for his eye, and a peg for a leg. Arrgh! And Kenny versus Larry Flint action figure, special edition, comes with a wheelchair and dirty magazines. And then there's the Americans with Disabilities activist Kenny, and he comes with a political agenda and a dog named Suki and and something else that's amazing. And all of these Kennys could live in the same dream house, and that has an accessible ramp, accessible dishwasher, accessible track lighting, and an accessible year's supply of macaroni and cheese. Yeah. You would think, being without a leg for about 20 years, I would never forget I didn't have it on. It only happened to me once, or twice, or so many times I can't remember. And I wish I could say it was only when I was tired. Any time of day I don't have it on. I don't know, I'm like looking for a book to read for that night. I'm like, oh, a book. Oh, cool. And I grabbed the book, and I turned to walk away. Now, in the time it takes me to get from here to the floor is about maybe 2 seconds, if that. But of course, to me, it takes forever, because I'm going in slow motion. And I think, oh shit, I'm falling. I don't have my leg on. Shit. I'm gonna read this cool book tonight. Oh, the floor's coming fast. Put out your hands. Catch yourself. Lift your stump up. Don't hurt. And finally, bam! And every time, laughing my butt off, going, idiot. Gravity. Gravity is the natural force of attraction between any two massive objects. It is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. For example, a body and the floor. Idiot. I talk to kids because they have no inhibitions. Like all the time. Hey, mister, you don't have a leg. Oh, really? God, where'd it go? Hey, you have a robot leg. Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, you look like the Terminator. All right. And my nephew is exactly the same. He's about that age when he knew about my leg. He knew that I didn't have a leg, and he's seen it before, but he never asked any questions. And he was just getting at the age where he was going to start asking questions. So I called my brother and sister-in-law and said, I'm going to be out there, and he's going to be asking questions. How do you want to handle it? So we discussed how we would handle it, and went out there. Sure enough, he asks. And he came up and he's like, Uncle Ken, I saw you got your leg all chopped off. But can I look at your robot leg? I'm like, sure. And so I took my robot leg off and handed it to him. And he's looking at this, just fascinated because he got to hold it. And in fact, I was wearing this leg. And this was a little project that I did that I made all of my friends and my family members pose for me. So I took pictures of their left legs and stuck them to this. I saw the commercial for the iZone camera, and I was driving on the 147 bus downtown thinking, iZone, I want one of those. I want one of those because I want to do this. Where the thought came from, who knows? But it's art. So Jack Henry is looking at it, and he's like, well, where's my leg? And so I said, well, this is your leg right here. Oh, where's Daddy's leg? Well, Daddy's leg is right over here. Oh, well, how about Mommy? Well, Mommy's is right over here. Well, where's my dog's leg? And I said, well, your dog's leg is right there, see? Everybody's included on this. And he's like, cool. Handed it back to me, and I put it on. He's like, wow, you're just like a bionicle, And I was like, yeah, I am, aren't I? Yeah, that's neat. Do the other one. I crawled to the corner, stopped to flap and breathe, crouched down. I feel the word rears its head again. So I grab my knees to my chest with my arms, holding them tightly. I breathe. Shut up, I say, as I begin to rock back and forth. I feel the sweat rolling down my armpits and down my shoulders and down my face. I feel my heart pumping faster and faster and faster, ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And I think, oh God, no, I'm not going to say it. You can't make me say it. No, I'm not going to say it. Cancer. It crawls through my teeth, clawing at my lips. It sounds as if a bomb exploded. My breathing is entering me with less effort now. The voices begin to fade. The tears begin to fall. I hear terms. Cancer, people with cancer, or who had cancer, dealing with it. They're called victims. And it seemed really strange to me that we were victims, that it was always such a bad thing. Because the battlefield is our own bodies, and we fight that battle within ourselves. And the only arsenal that we have, really, is the knife, radiation, chemotherapy, combination of all three of those. Positive thought, friends, family. And I was in remission after my first bout with cancer where I had my leg amputated. I was in remission for 11 years. When I had felt numbness in my groin area and felt a lump. But I was lucky because I had the experience from the first time around, and I thought, okay, I have to have more surgery, and they're going to make me have radiation too, okay. I went into the hospital, but I had pictures of my friends and family. I had my own pillowcase. I had my CD player with the headphones, and I had everything around me to remind me of home. Because I knew that when I first woke up after post-surgery, that if I could force myself to be awake, even though I really wasn't, just force myself out of that deep slumber and be awake and alert enough that I would be wheeled up to my room and I could begin the healing process. Well, a few years back, I had more of a threat of cancer. And this time I wasn't sure if I could do this again, alone. So I went to Gilda's Club. And Gilda's Club was founded several years ago, of course, by the husband of Gilda Radner. Awesome place. You can go in there, and it's for anyone who's been touched by cancer. If you yourself have been touched by cancer, if your mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, even a friend has been touched by cancer, you can go there. Everything is free of charge. They have tons of programs. You can learn about different ways to treat cancer. You can learn about how to cook a good meal. You can go to a Halloween party. You could just sit, talk. But the one thing that they require is group. Where you sit in a group of 10 to 15 people and you talk. It's a time to share what you're going through. And you can talk. You can cry because you're angry. You can cry because you're sad. You can cry because you're happy. Or you could just sit and be quiet. One woman, after I told her my little abridged story, said to me, she's like, I'm so proud of you. I want to thank you for your story. Thank you for your life. I wish I could be where you are. And it was then that I had an epiphany. Because I did not find what I went to Gilda's Club for. I didn't find at least what I thought I went to Gilda's Club for. I wanted the Northland House experience again. I wanted that bond again. What I learned was that I have something to tell people. I have something to teach. I learned that I am a real live candy action figure, and I come with crutches, a removable prosthetic leg, and tons of cool experiences.